Hi all. Right, back with more Field Commander Robert E. Lee playing the 7 days battles scenario, campaign, sorry. This is part 2. I'm going to need to keep my voice a little bit lower. My good lady's not feeling too good, she's down the stair in her bed, so I might get hard at any time. I might just have to stop. So I'll try and keep it down a little. Right, I watched part 1 and just uploaded it just now, so not enough time for anybody to have a look and make any comments, but it's out there now. I put it on BGG as well. Yeah, so and I was hoping to have completed this first special turn where you do the Battle of Oak Grove, but I didn't quite get through it all. So I see we're at step the second step there in the battle turn sequence, which is select and place Confederate battle plans. Yeah, and I was sort of discussing, try to go through them all and make a decision on one. I did come across Vince just uploaded a new Iran frequently asked questions just not long after I'd stopped recording that previous part earlier. So I hadn't looked at there was one up before and I had downloaded it, but I hadn't really looked at it. That's regarding second Manassas counters that were printed wrong, I think. So it's not relevant to what we're doing at the moment. Kind of Confederate Mobile Force used March default battle plan. Typo Union Combat default battle plan. Must have been talking about you had to activate it. This is relevant to us. Apparently the Fog of War event table, the regular Fog of War event table, had the wrong number of battle turns for the die roll 8, 9 and 10. And in actual fact, when I played last night, I rolled a 9. Now when we played this game, we rolled a 5, so it's not relevant, but you can see that they should be downgraded from a 5 to a 4, a 4 to a 3, and I'm not sure if that's a 6 or a 4. Well, can't you just see? So what is that? That's the... Oh no, that'll be on the player card, player aid card up here. Yeah, so just zooming in at a distance on that. You can see 8, 9 and 10 has got 5, 4 and 6, isn't it? Number of turns. I'm struggling to... Actually, I'm better looking in the camera to see that. My eyes aren't great these days. So it should be 4, 3, 4 rather than 5, 4, 6 there. So we'll need to remember that as we're going on, which could be tricky. Do a scroll on the player aid and score off the 5, make it a 4. I don't mind doing things like that. It's not ideal, but I've never, in all the time I've been into this hobby, I've never sold a game on to anybody anyway. So thing is, it's got the wrong details. Why not have it? And sorry if there's some sort of mess in the background. This room's not as tidy as it used to be. So some of my games and some other sort of rubbish lying about, to be honest. Could do a good clear out. Okay, so yeah, let's looking on, and I hope the light's all right here. I'm using this smaller table because I've got 2 bigger games on my other tables, which are the better tables for playing this. But I brought this lamp across, so hopefully, because it is getting a bit dark now, hopefully it's bringing in a good enough light. It probably will be. I always sometimes look at it and then when you see it in the recording later, it's fine. Right, that's Antietam special rule number 6, late arrivals, couch special rule. What is the difference between envelopment and a rout? These are just frequently asked questions, I suppose. Can I use very quick, basic and advanced battle resolution rules in the same campaign? The answer is yes, you can. Clarification. Something about the Fog of War die roll. I didn't quite get that one. This is relevant. So Lee, Longstreet, AP Hill, DH Hill, Stewart and Pendleton can start in any area of Richmond, north, centre or south. I figured that was the case. Now I've got them all sitting in the centre, which, to be honest, I should probably make the decision of where they're going rather than see the outcome of this and then change my mind, shouldn't I? Right, I'll come across to that in a minute because I might not want them all in the centre. I think I either want them in the north or the south. Yeah, and I was I mind noticing me commenting on the fact that I'm not sure if north is up the way or south is down the way. Well, it clearly is because Richmond North is the one at the top, Richmond South is the one at the bottom. So, this is relevant too, which I probably would have been scratching my head at come the time. So it says the entrenched insight to confirm if after resolving the Battle of Oak Grove you get a rejoin result in the withdrawal table, the entrenched insight remains attached to Huger as long as Huger is not destroyed, moves or retreats. So if we get that result, then the entrenched insight's going to stay there for the next round, the next battle. Because I'm assuming rejoin means you just continue and start a new battle. There's another sort of question. Well, I didn't leave it as a question, but I was I figured that you didn't get any command points and scouts at the beginning because there was nothing to say that, and that's confirming that player does not start the campaign with any command points or scout counters unless the special rule states otherwise. Shock attacks with no activation number. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Advance to the closest union. Right, hidden mark. Yeah, that's it. So there was a couple of things that were quite relevant to what we were doing there, but nothing that. Although I'm glad I've seen the one about the different the battle turns, but because like I say, last night I put it at 4 and it should have been put at 3. So I figured that since I'd started a new video, we might as well have a look through these battle plan counters and the default battle plans. These are probably one of the biggest parts to the game, really, aren't they? Because you're going to be giving these out every battle turn. So I think this is a huge part of the game. So we might as well have a look at them. So our situation is we've got 1 to place. And we've got 2 forces, so clearly one of them is going to have to use a default battle plan. Every force has to be given a battle plan of either a counter or a default for us, and for the Union either a special battle plan counter or a default one for them. So yeah, so. Yeah, we're needing to find one, and I didn't find any last night. I didn't bother using any, but let's just have a closer look and see. Why not? So I think I looked at the first 2 or 3 before I closed that previous video out. But just glancing back again, aimed volley, infantry only, line only. That means it needs to be in the line formation, so horizontal. Roll to activate, so you've got to have it in line. Needs to be infantry, and you've got to roll to activate. Remember, looking at Huger here, without coming back to the map, he's got an activation number of 3, which means you've got to roll a 3 or less on a d10 to actually have this work. And remember, if my understanding is that if this doesn't work, yeah, I'm going to get a lot of shadow on it now because the lamp's right there. There's not much I can do about it. It's maybe not a big deal, is it? Yeah, and if you don't activate him, I'm pretty sure I read in the rules that if he doesn't get activated, then all he does is do the hold battle plan, which, to be honest, I don't know if it's classed as a battle plan or not. It's not even in the default ones there, so I'm not sure if it is or not, but that's what you got to do, and basically you just do nothing. You just sit there, So anyway, carrying on. Perform an attack for the force with a +3/+1 bonus to its combat value if there are Union forces at range 1. So just looking at him again, his combat value is 5. I'm going to hate the shadows. What can I do? I mean, I can't put the lamp off. Pretty sure that's too dark. And I'm still getting shadow for the lights above anyway. Yeah, it's going to be better through the day, I suppose, but and yeah, my other tables are probably better prepped for the likes of this situation, but well, what can you do? So yeah, looking at it, he's got a combat value of 5. So if that was a +3/+1, he would become an 8/1. So you would get that little, is it superscript or subscript number? And that 1 means that if you happen to roll a 1, if you roll an 8 or less, that's a hit. However, if he rolls a 1, it becomes 2 hits. And obviously that sometimes that 1 can be a 2 or a 3. Like there's, I did see there was one up there. I've not punched all the counters out. And by the way, these are all pre-rounded counters. They just push out the thing. You don't need to. I'm a counter copper, so I mean, I suppose some might. Yeah, I don't think you would want to clip these. They're not got raggy edges or that. I mean, they're not really rounded, I suppose, but they're nice. They're really nice, so I don't think you would want to bother. So just looking at this guy up here. Morel here, he's got a 3 with a wee superscript, subscript, whatever it is. So again, if he rolls a 3 or less, if he rolls a 3 or a 2, he would deal out 1 hit. If he happened to roll a 1, he would deal out 2 hits. Now, if he rolled above a 3, he would not hit. It would be a miss. But if he got given this +3/+1, he would be a 6/2. So a 6, a 5, a 4, or a 3 would give him 1 hit. A roll of a 1 or a 2 would then would deal out 2 hits. So that's why a lot of the modifiers have got the, +3/+1. They've got 2 numbers. So, and the thing is, the Union forces need to be a range 1. So it's not any good to us now, but if we're looking through them, then I suppose. Right. So the next one is canister. Place only on artillery or fortifications. So we do actually have a fortification. The Union force must be in an adjacent region. So that's a big no again. Now our fortification, the nearest Union forces are 1, 2, 3, 4 regions away. Regions? Maybe it's regions. Yeah, it's regions, isn't it? Areas, whatever. I think it talks about them as regions, doesn't it? Anyway, so what does it do though if they were adjacent? It says cannot target Union forces in melee combat. Do not roll to activate. Attack adjacent Union forces with a +2/+2 modifier. So if one of these guys was down here, we wouldn't be able to do it because these would be in melee. But if, for instance, he wasn't there, this is what we would need, the situation where this is an adjacent and this canister would give this a +2/+2 to attack. So that's pretty straightforward, I think. But that it can't be when there's 2 forces together. That means these are melee. Oh, I'm hating the shadows. It's really bothering me. Well, keep your hands out the way, my big grunt. Okay, so moving on. Cover. Roll to activate. So you do need to roll to activate this one. Force cannot move or retreat. Yeah, I thought about using this one actually on Huger. Even though he's got entrench, that's an insight. Cover would give him even a bit more cover. But I did sort of think, well, yeah, because they could do something. Thing is, did I not say they needed a 1 to hit us anyway? So I don't think it's going to do anything. Well, what did it do? Force cannot move or retreat. Any Union force attacking this force suffers a -1/-1 penalty to its combat value. This force gains a +1 bonus to its combat value if making a shock check. Well, I suppose come the time that if they got down to the adjacent area here, then putting that cover on that guy might be a good idea, because then they're likely to come in and do this shock attack, which we'll get to come the time. But right now, I don't think we need to be trying to do any kind of cover. And we've got the entrenched as well. Right, what's next? Engage. If in column, do not roll to activate. So my assumption there, it doesn't say, but My assumption there is that you could still do this if you were in line, but you would have to roll to activate. Correct me if I'm wrong there. It says 1, advance force 1 region, and then if Union force present, resolve shock attack. Do not make an activation check to initiate a shock attack, but do resolve defensive fire. If in melee combat, remove engage. Okay. 2, if not in melee combat, change to line formation. 3, if there are Union forces at range 1, attack with a +1/+1 modifier. Right, that's quite a mouthful. I understand this. I read through the rules completely once, and I was struggling with a lot of this stuff. And then I read through the rulebook again a second time, right through 67 pages or whatever it is. Did I get right through at the second time? I might not have actually. And then a lot of it started sinking in, to be honest. And to be honest, you don't need to read the rules for these, you just need to wait until this time when you're, well, I need to consider if I want to use this, if it's useful or not, you know. Shock attacks are quite the thing though. There's a lot going on when we come in, when you get two forces together on this battle map. You get that whole shock attack, defensive fire bit, a lot of activation checks, I think. That's my understanding. Like I say, I've not really done it yet. And then you then end, unless one party gets put to another region, shoved back or pushed forward, shoved back probably, retreated, then you end up in melee, and then the next battle turn you're in melee, and you do things as you're in melee, you know. So I think this is a good one, but it's not useful at the moment. So yeah, let's speed this up a little bit, Grant, though. Fight and retreat, infantry and cavalry only, roll to activate if in column. See, again, roll to activate if in column, so assume that you don't need to roll if you're in line. Roll with a -2 activation number penalty in line. Right, okay, it's got it there about the line bit. But this one didn't. It didn't say anything about being in line. So I'm not sure if you can't do it in line, or if you do roll. I mean, I would, going by what that says, I would suggest that you can do it, but you need to roll if you're in line. But I could be wrong with that. Anyway, moving on. Can only be activated if Union force in an adjacent region. Attack adjacent Union force with a -2 penalty to combat value if in column, or a -1 penalty to combat value if in line, and then retreat the Confederate force 1 region. So it hits you and then it drops back. Interestingly there, it gets a -2 penalty if it's in column, and it would roll to activate if it was in column, whereas if it's in line, it rolls to activate with a -2 penalty, and then it only gets a -1 penalty to the combat value. But so it's actually better doing it in line, but you're less likely to succeed with your activation roll, aren't you? I mean, if I was looking at Hugo right here, right now, a -2, I would have to roll a 1 to activate him. Anyway, again, not of any use because we've not got an adjacent force, have we? Right, flank. Okay, this is a big one. One or more Union forces must be exactly 2 regions away at the time of activation. Okay, so again, it's not useful to us at the moment, so I'll read through it quickly. If in column, do not roll to activate, right? Again, doesn't mention line, so my guess is you can do it, but you need to roll to activate. Right, 1 advance, 1 region. 2 advance, 1 region. Right, so it does an advance, then it does a second advance, and then resolve shock attack against Union force with a low skill level. Yeah, and it had to be a Union force 2 regions away. That's why it does advance, and then shock attack. Do not make an activation check to initiate a shock attack, but do resolve defensive fire. That Union force suffers a -3 penalty. It's combat value for the shock check. Other formation modifiers may apply. If melee combat, remove flank. And then 4, if not in melee combat and there are Union forces at range 1, attack the lowest skill level Union force. If Confederate forces is in column, suffer a -2/-2 penalty to combat value for that attack. So yeah, that suggests that because it talked about column at first, that you could go in doing line. You could go in at line and do all this, but you would need to roll to activate it. I think it's clear. I suppose just the fact that it doesn't mention line at all. But yeah, I think I'm probably being picky there. But you never know. It could come back and I could get told, no, you can't do it in line. But then why would this be at the end here saying if Confederate forces in column? You know, because that wouldn't need to ask that question, would it? Yeah, okay. Right, formation is the next one. Do not roll to activate. Okay, no assigned force. Okay, at any time during the Confederate... so you don't assign this to an actual force. Anytime during the Confederate or Union Resolve battle plan step, you may change the formation of up to 3 forces, even if in melee combat. So you can switch between line and column and vice versa. Okay, and you can do it with three forces, up to 3 forces. Right, prepare. Right, we'll look at prepare. Do not roll to activate. Place on any force which already has a battle plan counter or will use a default battle plan. Resolve that battle plan before you resolve the Union battle plans. So this is what I was saying. We could get in, sneak in and get the attack in first. Or get to do ours first, whereas normally it's a Union that get to do it. It's still worth considering that because, I mean, I've got one battle plan to use anyway. Last night when I played it, I didn't play one. I just used both 2 default ones, but why not use one? Use one if it's going to do something. Because it's not... It doesn't mean you're using it up. You'll get that one again next battle turn, you know? Right, moving on. Rapid advance. Infantry only. Closest Union force must be 3 regions away. Okay, hang on then. That one applies to us here. Huger's infantry only. Closest Union force is 1, 2, 3 regions away. And that did bring in the word regions there, so that must be the term, yeah. Okay, so that up to now, we could do this with Huger, right? Up to now. Roll to activate if in column. Well, we're not, we're in line. Roll to activate with -2 penalty if in line. Okay, that's that out then. Because we need to roll a 1 again. And then what's going to do? Advance 1 region, and then advance 1 region, and then attack adjacent Union forces with -1/-1 combat if in line. Cannot attack if in column. Okay. Right. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's a good idea anyway. I'm not sure that's... I think you'd need to be a strong force to make that one sort of... Well, you know what? I've not really started playing the game yet, so I can't really comment on what... If some of these are better than others, really. I can't really. Right, rapid fire. Infantry only. If the forces in line do not roll to activate. Okay. Attack a non-melee Union force at range 1 with a -1/-1 penalty to combat value. That was step 1, and then step 2, attack the same Union force, or if destroyed, target a different force at range 1, suffer a -2 penalty to the combat value. That sounds like quite a good one, then, eh? Again, you need to have stuff at range 1. So again, not any good to us at the moment. Right, and then the final one over the page is volley. Infantry only. Do not roll to activate if in line. Attack a Union force at range 1 with a +2/+0 bonus to the combat value. So pretty good again if they're at range 1. So my guess is we're waiting on them getting to us, and then we'll maybe use the likes of these. Right, quickly looking at the default battle plans, and then we'll move on and get the combat going, and hopefully I'll still get that done within the hour. Fingers crossed. Right, I had to go and pause there for a little bit. I suppose it wasn't a bad point to have stopped things there, and the good lady's up and about now as well, so I can start being a bit more louder if I need to. Right, so Confederate default battle plans. Any Confederate force without a battle plan counter uses a default battle plan. The player may select, hold, and have a force do nothing that turn. Confederate forces in melee combat must use default battle plans. Yeah, so you can't be in melee combat and get one of these. Wasn't there one exception? No, there's not. The fact entrench as an insight is not really an exception. It's not a battle plan, like we've said already. Right, so there they all are. And it mentioned hold there. You can see on the map, our default battle plans doesn't have hold there, and for the Union it doesn't have hold either. But there is one down the bottom, so it's not, I suppose, a battle plan. Well, what does it say about it? I suppose I should have went through them one by one, but hold, all Confederate forces may use this default battle plan. Well, it does call it that. So maybe a little strange that it's not on the selection there, but oh, hold on. Okay, hang on. I'll come back to the map in a second. Do not roll to activate. Force remains in place and takes no action this battle turn. Yeah, I'm just looking there. But again, the font in there is I'm struggling with. So it says both. Okay. So this is for both forces, right? Okay, fair enough. It's covered there. So for the Confederate default battle plans are there. The Union default battle plans are there. I didn't actually see this, but for both of them, you've got retreat, which gives rule 12.45. Yeah, that's tricky to read. And that's 12.4.5 and that's 14.2.3 or something. And then it's got hold with the rule numbers. It says defensive. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, it looks like they can both use retreat and hold. I don't know why the word defensive, so. Do you have to be defensive to do a hold? Or is it just... No, I don't know. I'll leave that then. But it does have it there, I suppose. Okay, let's quickly go through them. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, isn't there, for us? And I'm not going to go through the Union ones until we start seeing them. What they'll do them, and then we'll go over them. So March, right? Before and after March, you may change formation to/from column or line. Do not roll to activate if in column. Roll to activate if in line. Advance the force one region. If the force tries to enter a region with a Union force, make an additional activation check to initiate a shock attack. Cavalry that are not in melee combat may advance to a second region. Before or after the first or final move, you may change formation to/from column or line. If the force tries to enter a region with a Union force, make an additional activation check to initiate a shock attack. Artillery force with an activation number may use march. That force must remain in line and cannot initiate a shock attack. Yeah, I want to say there's something in there that was bothering me. Was it the artillery force can use march? Because you can use march to retreat as well. I believe that was one clarification in that errata frequently asked questions that we just looked at, wasn't it? Or was that was that March? I think it was. Anyway, okay, so, well, is it relevant to us at the moment? Do we want to... Well, I've said that I don't think we want to move. And we've not got... our fortification is a static force, so I can't use any of that anyway. And I've already said we don't want to move Huger, I don't think. I want to move them forward anyway. So let's move on. Fire. Right. We're going to use this for our fortification. I'm pretty sure all forces may use this, and I think we read this already, obviously. Do not roll to activate if in line. Roll to activate if in column. See, it says both of them there, doesn't it? Whereas some of the previous ones, it just says do not roll to activate if in column, or do not roll to activate if in line. It doesn't mention the other one. It mentions them both there, Which sort of makes me worry and think that the ones that do say do not roll to activate in line and they don't mention the column means that you can't do it in column. That's what the slight doubt is there, but hopefully we'll get that cleared up when the time comes. Attack a Union force at range 0, melee combat, so we can attack at melee. So if we're in melee combat, we can attack, and we get a +3/+3 combat value bonus. Now, you've got to remember that their default battle plan, it's not called fire, it's called combat, but my guess is it's going to probably do something similar, and they get to do their thing first. So it could be, again, I've not done any of this yet, so I'm not sure how it's all going to pan out, but it might well be that they're at an advantage with that, because I get the feeling it's not God, what's the word again? Funny enough, I'm playing Space Empires on my other table, and it's the same. It's not I always lose this word. You're not doing the combat all at the same time. Starts with an S, I think. I think the Union will get to fire on me first, maybe destroy my unit, my force, and then I'll not be able to fire back. You all know the word that I'm trying to find, but I can't find it. It'll come to me. We don't do it all at the same time. I think they get to go first and we have to come second, but I could be wrong with that too, but that looks like it's how it is. And so I think right now, if they were to be able to fire on us and kill this unit, destroy this before in their turn, because they get to do it first. Is that how it works? So maybe well, you need to see the battle turn sequence, don't you? Yeah, we'll come back to this shortly, yeah? Well, let's come back to that when we do. See, you resolve the Union battle plans first, and then you resolve the Confederate battle plans. So I don't think, I think if my force gets taken out, and then it's meant to fire back, I don't think I get the chance to do that. That's why I suppose that, what was it? Prepare battle plan could be quite handy at times, I think. Right, where was I? Was I still reading fire? I think I was. Yeah, and if you've not noticed already, my videos, I've said it a couple of times, I should probably put a comment in the header, the very first video that I create when I'm doing a playthrough. Because, if you've not watched my stuff before, at least then it would give you a warning. Look, this is a deep dive into the game. I should probably put that on my channel that I think I've spoken about before. That maybe, then again, I don't look at any videos that I watch in wargames and stuff. I don't look at the guy's channel to see what it is their comment, how they play their games and whatever. So I just watch it and see, and then if it's not for me, it's not for me. So I take it most of you do the same, but because I've said many a time that somebody will come along, start watching my video and say, "Oh, this is too long-winded." My videos, if you look at my channel, there's hours and hours of video footage on my games. It takes me a while. That's how I enjoy doing it. Some people seem to stick with me and watch it through. It's what I like as well. And the other thing I like is I've been watching some playthroughs recently, and I'm interested in the game, but the videos, it's all like that from that distance away, and they're saying, right, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and it's way up there, and I'm thinking, what are you going to do? What's up there? I like to get in there, get in and have a look at things, and some of these components are beautiful. Let's give them, their place. I like to get in and zoom in and that. I mean, it's messy. I move about. There's nothing professional here. It's a little tripod with an iPhone on it. That's all it is. I've no microphone either as well. I've no fancy microphones. It's just the microphone on the phone. But it seems to come across okay, I think. But yeah, the long-winded affairs, my videos. So let's get back and not make it any more long-winded, Grant. Right, so all forces me use this. Do not roll activate if in line, roll activate if in column. Yeah, I think that's where I stopped because I was like, it's telling you the both there. Attacking unit force at range 0, melee combat with a +3/+3. No, we did read this. Or attacking unit force at range 1, which is range combat. Now you can see they're getting a +3/+3 for that, but you're not getting any modifier for the range 1 attack. So it's just a straight up. And then, but it does carry on that artillery and fortifications can target forces beyond range 1. But then you've got to check the range attenuation table. You know what? That word. Attenuation table. Okay. Yeah, I'm not the smartest bloke out there. So check the range attenuation table. Artillery and fortifications at range 0 are in melee combat. I cannot use fire. So yeah, if they're in melee, they can't do it. Okay, so pretty sure that's what the fortification is going to do. Our fortification. Right, quickly moving on. Disrupt. Non-melee cavalry only. Okay. Roll to activate. Immediately place a cavalry force in the Confederate Reserve region. Okay. Yeah, I remember reading this. This is quite interesting. So choose either one, examine and select one Union special battle plan and remove it from the cup. Now, I don't know how many they've got in there. Looks like they might have more than 10. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, they've got more than 10. But they've got like 4 Fog of War battle plans, which do nothing when you draw them. So yeah, they've got a bit more than 10. But anyway, I can examine that and remove one of them from the cup to make sure that they don't draw that. Okay. Or I can randomly select 3 of them and remove them from the cup. It says you may look at them after they have been drawn. Removed special battle plans cannot be selected until they are replaced in the cup at the end of the following draw and assign Union special battle plan step. You cannot select special battle plans that have already been drawn. Multiple cavalry forces can use disrupt in the same battle turn. Of course, we're getting to do this second, aren't we? So they've already selected their special battle plans. I then carry out my disrupt battle plan, remove 3 random ones from the cup, but they've already chosen the ones for this battle turn. However, their 3 will get removed for the next battle turn. So it's good, it's interesting, yeah. I like it. Pivot. Do not roll to activate. Change force formation to/from line/column. Pretty straightforward. And you might want to do that. Yeah, you might want to just do that when there's nothing else better to do, or you might want to get yourself ready to go into column so you can start moving forward easier. You'll see that the march up there, I think, was better in column, wasn't it? Because march is just, you may change formation. You can change before or after moving. But I want to say, do you not have to roll if you're in... Yeah, you need to roll if you're in line. So you might want to be in column to start with, and then move forward, and then change into line. You know, so you might want to sort of read ahead a bit. Anyway, retreat. All Confederate forces use this default battle plan if they rout in a battle turn. Do not roll to activate. Change force formation to column and retreat 1 region. Artillery cannot retreat and will be recaptured. And then we've read about hold. And we'll get to see what rout is all about. Hopefully against them, but it might be against us. And we know what hold's all about. So these 2, retreat and hold, admittedly, are not here or here, but they are down here. I didn't notice this, but... so they are still battle plans as such. Right, okay, Grant. 40 minutes and you need to move. So what what are you going to do? Are you going to select one of these battle plans? Right, let me pause and think about what one I'm going to pick, if any. Right, just quickly thinking about it, I'm going to pick the prepare one. Well, hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a hold battle. What is it? Default battle plan on Hugo, and I'm going to do a fire. I kind of wish they had counters for these actually, because in all honesty, you can have quite a lot of forces here. I sort of wish that they had these. My guess is that somebody will come up with something to use for these. I mean, you could do it yourself. All you need is some kind of counter that's got an M on it, an F, a D, or a P, maybe. Or an R or an H. There you go. Just to sort of... I mean, if you had 6 or 7 forces here, you might sort of forget what you've chosen. Again, look, I've not played the game in any... I've not done it enough to know. I might find that that's not the case, and you're not going to forget, and it's quite straightforward. So let's move on. So what I'm going to do is the fire default battle plan for him, and the whole default battle plan for him. However, I'm also going to do the prepare one. So, and that's my one battle plan counter that I'm allowed. So hopefully this is right, and I'm going to put that on the fortification. So just reminding us, do not roll to activate, fine. Place on any force which already has a battle plan counter or will use a default battle plan. So it's using the default battle plan fire, and it's any force, right? Good. So we're going to resolve that battle plan before we resolve the union battle plans. And what I'm thinking, I don't think it does make any difference. Well, you know what, we'll just use it. What I was thinking there is if they got some kind of defensive thing. I remember seeing a special battle plan they've got that gives them a more defensive, but they're aggressive, so it's probably not going to matter, is it? Yeah, probably not. Okay, I'll just do that anyway, because I don't think there's any other ones that that really jump out at me saying, oh, you should definitely be playing this one. Okay, so let's move back to the... We selected our... didn't take long, did it? Right, we've selected and placed our Confederate battle plans, which is step 2 there. Yeah. So next one, determine the Union tactics and special battle plans. So we see this is in the step here. So I think normally, although it does say in the campaign instructions that for this battle, they stay aggressive the whole battle. That's, again, tell me if I've got that wrong. But this step here, after, let's just say you were doing 4 battle turns, after the 3rd battle turn, you would come here, and this might change their tactics from aggressive to defensive, or vice versa. So... But we've got a special rule that overrides this and basically says they're always going to be aggressive throughout this battle. That's my take on it. So, but normally you would total the combined value of the Confederates and Union forces. If the Union army enjoys an advantage greater than 1-to-1, we select aggressive tactics and battle plans. If the Confederate army enjoys an advantage greater than 1-to-1, we select defensive tactics and battle plans. Right? In the case of a tie, we would determine aggressive or defensive randomly. So, yeah, we just roll dice, I guess. Note that Union tactics and battle plans can change as casualties are inflicted, and that the respective combined combat values of both armies change. Recheck every turn. See, so I read that last night and thought, so turn 2, do we do that? But I think the wording in the campaign says that they stay aggressive. It might be that it's wrong. But I suppose that's why I'm trying to chuck these first couple of videos out there to see if I'm doing things right. So we've determined that they're aggressive, right? They're certainly aggressive for this first turn. We know that for sure. Right, so draw and assign Union special battle plans. Draw the specified number of Union special battle plans as indicated in the campaign information sheet. That's 2. Note that some special battle plans may be resolved immediately when they're drawn. See section 14.1 for details on Union special battle plans. Union forces not assigned or affected by a special battle plan. Okay. Not assigned or affected by a special battle plan. Oh, right, I might have blundered with that last night then. Because most of them don't really... In fact, I think there's only one of them that attaches to a force. And I kind of thought that... Right, I maybe have got that wrong then. Well, I'll start doing things and then tell you what my thinking was last night, because that seems to be wrong. Because it says not assigned or affected by a special battle plan. Then they would be assigned a default battle plan. See section 14.2 for details on Union default battle plans. At the beginning of a battle, discard one scout counter to remove a selected Union special battle plan. Okay, is that from the cup? Beginning of a battle? Or is that one that's been played? Oh, okay. 14.0.1. Well, I'm quite curious on that. Not that we've got scout counters just now anyway, but just the way that's worded, I'm not sure how where you remove it from. At the beginning of a battle, you may discard... This is 14.0.1 on page 47. Beginning of a battle, you may discard one scout counter to remove a selected Union special battle plan from the cup. Ah, right, it is from the cup. That special battle plan is unavailable to the Union for the duration of the battle. Okay, so that keeps it away for the whole battle then. Return that special battle plan to the cup for any future battles. You may discard more than one scout counter per battle. In each case, remove one selected Union special battle plan. Okay. Right, okay, so I'm going to draw Confederate default battle plans. Right. Where are the Union special battle plans? Right. So I'm going to draw their first one. And I'm just going to chuck them on the map here. So, this randomly out of this cup and see what we get. Right, here's the first one. It's a Fog of War. Right, okay, so Fog of War 14.1.11. Let's just quickly look at that. Where are we? Yeah, okay. So... Fog of War has no effect on the battle, but does count against the total number of special battle plans that can be drawn this turn. So remember, they were able to draw 2, so that's 1 and it's going to do nothing. So that's good for us. Remember, I think there's 4 of them in this mix. And I want to say there's probably about 12 or 14 counters in total, something like that. So 4 of them being Fog of War, it's not. Right, and then the second one is... Right, close ranks. And there's a couple, there's a couple that are defensive only when the Union's defensive, and there's a couple that are aggressive. And it says it on the actual thing, it's got it in brackets underneath it. I've just left them all in the cup. If you happen, when you're aggressive, if you happen to draw one of the defensive ones, then just set it aside and draw another one. I think that's what it tells you in the rules as well. So I think that's fine. Rather than set up the cup every time when you're aggressive and defensive. Right, close ranks. Right, well, we don't know what that does. So let's have a look. Close ranks. Hang on, what have I done here? Yeah, there we go. Close ranks. Right, it's the very first one. Okay, so just brought that down at the top, right? Bit of a mix player aids there, but it's here anyway. So give me a second. I'm starting to worry that I'm not going to get this battle complete in this video. I'm 49 minutes. Okay. Close ranks. Cancels first hit from any source, including hits from shock attacks and defensive fire. This is horrible. On Union forces this turn. Return to cup when used. Okay, so it's going to cancel one hit and then return to the cup. A second close ranks special battle plan drawn in the same turn cancels the second hit on Union forces. So there must be 2 of them. Return the second counter to the cup when used. 14.1.1. Does it give me any more? No, it doesn't. I guess what I'm sort of thinking here. These only last. Yeah, they do. These only last this battle turn, and then they go away, and then we draw another ones. Yeah, because I remember looking that up last night as well, because I was a little confused. So this just sits. So basically, that's their 2 special battle plans. We can chuck this one away because it does nothing. So I'll chuck that back in the cup. But this is in play. So this just sits there. So here's where well, I'm not sure if it was a mistake last night then. So we've got close ranks in here, which is going to cancel the first hit from any source. Okay? But when I played, what was the one I ended up playing last night? No, hardcover's defense only, so it wasn't that. Charge didn't work. Maybe I'm getting myself muddled up here. Maybe I didn't play one actually. Smoke. No. Flanking fire. Yeah, I want to say I might have drawn flanking fire. Resolve immediately when drawn. I guess what I ended up doing, I can't remember what the special battle plan that came into play, because they had 3 because they got an extra 1 due to the Fog of War, so they got 3 rather than 2. I can't remember I want to say I drew 2 Fog of Wars though. And what was the other one? Flanking fire maybe? Resolve immediately when drawn, roll 1d10. Oh, maybe I did do that right then. Because what I'm concerned with here is, I gave all these other forces a default battle plan, but right now, do they get that here? I'm not sure, because I sort of think that maybe they don't. Although last night I would have thought they did. Here. So it's the bit that I just read that sort of got me wondering. Yeah, Union forces not assigned or affected by a special battle plan are assigned default battle plans. Well, I'm not sure here. Because last night, like I say, I want to say I did the flanking fire one, and it carries out some action right away. But this is sort of giving every one of these forces, it's sort of, they're affected by this. But that then means that they're not going to move. Because these are going to, for their default battle plan, does it, hang on. Does it not tell you in this default battle plans? Yeah, there's advance, which is aggressive, and then combat, which, right, okay, it's got combat, aggressive, and then combat, aggressive, and defensive. Union default battle plans. I mean, there's only 4 of them: advance, combat, retreat, and hold. We know the retreat and hold's down here. So advance is only going to be aggressive. Well, what does it say? Here's the default battle plan for advance. Assigned to every infantry and cavalry force that is 2 or more regions away from any Confederate force. Do not roll to activate, keep column, or change line to column formation. Advance 1 region. That's what I done last night. So all of them done that, and they moved into the Union front. And then the other one that's relevant is combat, but they can only do that if there's one region away, assigned to every Union force that is one region away or less from any Confederate force. And again, yeah, if it's a melee, they get the +3/+3, like I spoke about. I thought they would be the same. The cavalry can do this thing if they're 2 regions away. So there is one cavalry force, but again, they're 3 regions away, so they can't do that. So hang on, how do we decide? Assigned to every infantry that is 2 or more away. So that's what they would all get that. And then the combat, well, next battle turn, if the cavalry's in there, it would be able to do that cavalry combat thing. Right? And then what about their artillery? Is it in here? Here we go, is it? Or range attack 1. Yeah, there it's there. It's the same as ours, isn't it? Artillery and fortifications attack at range 1 or greater, cannot attack at range 0. Check the range attack modifier. Yeah, okay. So, I'm not sure here. I'm not sure. Because these are all affected by close ranks. That can't be right. I must be getting that wrong, yeah? I don't know. Union forces not assigned or affected by a special battle plan are assigned default battle plans. See section 14.2. At the beginning of battle, discard ones. Yeah, that's 14.2. Just in the rulebook, in case it gives me something else, maybe a bit more detail. Give me a second. Oh, interesting. In the rules, it words this a bit different, I think. Now, I'm quite used to reading a little bit and then not reading the bit that the sentence that comes next, and then having to eat my words. So 14.2 is on page 52, Union Default Battle Plans. It says, in addition to special battle plans, each individual Union force also receives a default battle plan for each turn. And then the exception is forces affected by charge. The pool of available default battle plans will be determined by the tactics being used by the Union, aggressive or defensive, and will then be further determined based on the range to the closest Confederate force. These default battle plans are listed on the battlefield sheet. There are no counters for them. Yeah, and then it lists you them. And advance is aggressive. It does have it in the rulebook here. Unfortunately. Oh, no, it does. Okay, my bad. Well, combat doesn't. I think that could have been. Advance has got aggressive, AGG there, but in the rulebook and on here as well. Under combat, this should say aggressive and defensive. Let's not go out there. It's got in the rulebook, and then, and of course retreat. I think that's why it's got down here. Hold is defensive, but retreat and hold are defensive. I don't know. I mean, retreat doesn't say anything with it, but then there's combat, which I think combat should say aggressive or defensive. Retreat doesn't say anything, but hold does have defensive. So anyway, yeah, but reading that there in the rule book, it suggests that these are going to get a default battle plan, and which kind of makes sense. It doesn't make sense not to give them something. But that word in there is just what threw me. That, I know, I didn't sort of trigger this last night, but Union forces not assigned or affected by a special battle plan are assigned the default. I mean, I don't know. Close ranks is affecting them, but maybe I'm, again, not played the game, so Okay, we're going to give them a default battle plan. Their default battle plan, because they're aggressive, is going to be advance, because they're going to assign this default battle plan to every infantry and cavalry force that's 2 or more regions away from the nearest Confederate force. If you're selecting default battle plans from the aggressive pool. If the force is in column, do not roll for activation. This battle plan automatically activates. If the force is in line, you change the force to column and advance the force one region. Do not roll. So even if they're in line right now, they change the column and then do it. Okay, that's now stop, Grant. The Derusi up there, the artillery, is going to be assigned the combat battle default battle plan, which is assign this default battle plan to every Union force that is 1 region or less away from the nearest Confederate force. However, it says artillery and fortifications always use combat if there are non-melee Confederate forces 1 region or more away. Okay, so he's going to do combat and they're going to do advance, and he's going to do fire. Right, okay, let's push on. I'm not going to get this done. Hey. Drawing a sign, we've done that. Right, so we resolve the Union battle plans. However, we've got prepare. So, actually it didn't make any difference, does it? It's not made any difference. Because in actual fact, that if I was able to fire before this was in play, that would have been good. But I'm not able to do that. Anyway, this is already in play, isn't it? Oh no, is it, Grant? No, maybe it's not. I think you might have got one there. So the next step is to resolve the Union battle plans. And it says, from the most advanced region to the rearmost, carry out the orders indicated on the battle plan, include any and all die roll modifiers as indicated on any special battle plans. Any force unable to execute an order will hold. Again, I'm not sure then here, but I suppose that's the reason you were making these initial videos quicker than you needed to be. Is this in play yet? I don't think so. This is what they've chosen. I mean, we've not resolved this yet. This is the next step. But because this prepare allows us to sneak in and resolve it, and resolve this force's battle plan before theirs, I think we are getting to shoot first. And then if we hit, we're going to do damage to the target. And because close ranks is not going to be there. That sounds right to me. But I could be wrong. I mean, maybe when you draw this, it comes in right away. No, I don't think so. The most advanced region to the rearmost, carry out the orders indicated on each attached battle plan counter. Yeah, because the thing is, this isn't attached, and that's maybe what's worrying me, that's protecting them. Well, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. But a bit of luck we'll miss, and it'll not matter. And then I can be told later that was either right or it was wrong. Okay. So I think I'm getting to do this fire default battle plan before they do their thing. And then, so with that, I get to fire. Where are we now? I've got to target the nearest one of these. Yeah, I want that. Where's the... Yeah, that. I want that. So, yeah, I'm getting to sneak in and do this first because we were prepared. So the modifier is he's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So it's a -2, -2. The second -2 doesn't really matter. We got a 5, so basically it's down to a 3. So if we roll a 3 or less, then we get a hit. And well, let's do that first, and just see if it matters. So we need a 3 or less. We got a 7. Oh, by the way, I don't like the 1 on this dice because it looks. When I rolled it last night, I thought I suppose from that angle, it's like that was at that angle, and I thought that was like a 7. It's just it's just a bit too much of the slope there. Anyway, that was a 7, so we missed anyway. But please tell me if I'd hit there, was I able to get reduce one of these, or did that then soak up this and then that went away? My thinking is, because we're sneaking in first with the prepare, that I would still been able to carry out the hit. But let me know. Okay, so that's him done his thing. So now we're going to back to normal viewing with they're going to do their thing, and it says you start with the ones that are closest to the enemy first. So these are going to do in advance. Was it advance? Yeah, advance, because they are closest to us. And then the artillery, it was doing a combat. So that's the same as what we just rolled for us. It's going to fire on Huger. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So it's the same range. So I guess a -2, -2. Again, the second -2 doesn't matter. You can see he's a 2. So he's down to 0. But like I said, you can always hit with a 1. And also this entrench gives them an extra. What is that? Is that an extra -2, -2? That's an insight. Entrench, it says. Attacking Union force suffers -2, -2 penalty to combat value, making shot, melee, or ranged attack. So in actual fact, that artillery is getting a -4, -4. But it can always hit on a 1. So that's what it's going to do. And it's the only thing it can do anyway, so let's roll. No, I'll give him his dice. Right, 9. Okay. I was thinking, don't do it to me again. Don't give me a 1 again. Right. Okay, no. So that done nothing, that done nothing. That's it. So now we end. I'm going to clearly have to speed this up a bit, or we're not going to finish this. So, well, hold on. We've done that. We've resolved that. We've resolved. Oh no, we've not resolved ours. Yeah, no, Hugo was just holding it, and this got to do it before. It got to sneak in ahead, didn't it? So then we've resolved the Confederate battle plans too. We didn't need to make activation checks, blah, blah, blah. Route check, total combined combat values of all Confederate and Union forces. One army enjoys a 3-1 greater advantage. The weaker army is routed. Well, we're still 10-10. So nothing's changed there. Advance the battle turn counter. Move the battle turn counter 1 box towards the withdrawal box. If a battle turn remains on the turn track, begin a new battle turn, starting with the insight activation step. Okay, so we just go back up to the top. Well, what we do is we move that down to 2. So we've got 2 more battle turns, right? Insight activation step. Right, I think these battle plan markers have got to go away though. Was there a step there that told you to put them back? Not really, but they do. Because I remember looking it up. I think I had to go and look in BGG for that one, just to be sure. So, close ranks, we chucked our Fog of War back. Close ranks goes back, it just goes back in the cup. And we're going to randomly draw 2 more again for them. And again, prepare just comes away. And I could use prepare again. Right, I've got 1 to use. Right, so we're back up the top. Insight activation. Again, entrench is still there, so that's not relevant. Right, select and place Confederate battle plans. Right, hopefully we should be able to speed things up a little bit. Although I did say I wasn't going to move, didn't I? Because now they've moved a little bit closer. But I want to remind myself that this is going to do something different, because we're 2 away. So it is going to do a fire, isn't it? Not a fire, a combat, because it's cavalry. So, with that in mind, should we use the cover one? Right, pause and think about it, Grant. I'm not sure the cover helps me because the entrenched gives them a -2/-2 when they attack. So that's going to give that cavalry a -2/-2 anyway. So I don't really need to give them another -1/-1, do I? With a cover, so and you have to roll to activate as well. Remember, Hugo's only got an activation number of 3. I don't think, is there something that does something 2 regions away? I don't think there is. No. I think I'm just going to do the same again then. And I'm going to give this a hold. Because they can't attack anyway. They can't fire. I'm going to give this a fire. And I'm going to prepare it again. And let's just go through that and see. Right, so then we're going to give them their battle plan. So again, they're getting 2. So I'm going to randomly draw 2 out the cup. We get close ranks. Is that the one we just done? Wasn't it? The one you've got to watch, if you get the charge one, you've got to stop because it activates right away. But I think, apart from that, I think I can draw the second one now as well. Close ranks. Yeah, it cancels the first hit. So yeah, same thing's happened here. So that'll be interesting to see if I'm getting that right with that prepare. So that's our first one though. And I want to say there's 2. Did I not say there's 2 of the close ranks anyway? It might just be that I've been lucky. Right, and then the second one as hardcover, right? That's defensive only, right? So I'm going to set that aside and draw another one. I'm going to chuck it back in the cup once I've drawn this other one though, because I don't want to leave it out the cup and then find, ugh, right, that can't be good. Heavy fire. Right, I'm going to chuck this back in the cup again. But if I draw it again, obviously we're not defensive. Right, heavy fire. Where's heavy fire? Oh, there it is. Right. So I'll put this down and have a look. What's this one here? Right, we know close ranks is going to prevent 1 hit to them. When a mobile Confederate force suffers a hit this turn, make an activation check for that force. If the result is a fail, the force immediately retreats. This is horrible. Immediately retreats 1 region. If the region retreated into now exceeds the maximum amount of forces, then select the second force with the lowest skill level from that region to retreat. No forces are destroyed, but a force could retreat off the battlefield sheet. Return such a force to the campaign map. The heavy fire special battle plan has no effect when resolving hits from shock attacks or defensive fire. Okay, well it's bad because if he retreats, we lose the entrenched, don't we? When a mobile Confederate force suffers a hit this turn, again I want to say it needs to be a 1 die roll, but I mean that's not impossible. It happened last night. So, okay, and they've got close ranks, heavy fire. Right, we move on to resolve, well, normally we'd be resolving Union battle plans. No, stop, no, hold on. Because again, these aren't, this isn't, they need default battle plans, don't they? Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, that's how I seen it last night. It's just reading the words there was sort of throwing me a bit. Okay, so again, this is going to it always selects combat. Artillery, it says it always selects combat. Default battle plan. Wasn't it? Did I not say that? Right, where am I? What have I done with the... What's the page? Insights. Special battle plans. Right, default battle plans. Combat. Artillery and fortifications, attack. Yeah, it doesn't say it there, but it says it in the rulebook, doesn't it? tells you that they always do this. 14.2.2. Artillery and fortifications always use combat if there are non-melee Confederate forces one region or more away. Right. The thing about that is though, if they eventually get to us, then it can't then fire at us. If we're in melee in the Union Confederate approach, then they won't be able to fire. But that's not right. But now they will. So they're going to do combat default battle plan, and these 3 infantry guys are going to do advance. However, the cavalry, we did just glance at this. Union cavalry can use combat if the nearest Confederate force is exactly 2 regions away, right? 1, 2. So it is. Make an activation check, and if it fails, it's going to hold. Right. So let's do that first. Yeah, let's do that first. So you can see its activation number is the 2. The 1's its combat. So it needs to roll a 2 or less. So I'm hopeful that that's not going to happen. Right, so it needs to roll a 2 or less to activate. That's one of the ones that looks like a 7, but it's a 1. Damn it. Okay. Right, so they are succeeded to activate. So let's move on then. Right, hang on, I'll put this down so I can. Because the light's messing about there. Right, hold on. Okay, so. Right, so it didn't fail. It succeeded. Do not change formation, so it's in column. Do not move the cavalry force. Okay. Make a ranged attack with a -2/-2 penalty to combat value. Union cavalry attack as normal at range 1. Oh, okay, I see. Because this is range 2, is getting to sneak in and do this. Fair enough. And then if it moves up and becomes at range 1. Thing is, well, yeah, it will move up. It will move up if it can't do it, because if these were in melee, 14.2.2. Sometimes I always find that some of the words are sometimes all these playwright. I mean, if these explained all the rules, you wouldn't need a rule book, would you? So you sometimes there's missing bits that you, or not missing bits, but talk about melee here. Combat and Union cavalry. Here we go. Because I'm not sure why. Hang on. Right, sorry, I was away again there on pause. We're doing the combat with the cavalry. Yeah, we've not done the artillery, but again, you do them in order closest to. That's right, yeah. Yeah, so he succeeded with his activation, yeah. So he's going to get a -2/-2 to this combat. They don't move him, don't change his formation. His combat strength is 1. So -2/-2, and the entrench that we've got. So again, it's only a 1. I've just rolled 1. It's only a 1 that's going to cause a hit here. Oh my god. Right, that dice is not working well for me. Okay, so that succeeds in hitting Huger. Okay, well, last night I just flipped him over and that was it. I mean, he's went from 3, 5, he had the combat at 5. Oh dear. Down to 2 now, so he's flipped over. I mean, the entrenchment was just again stopping the giving them a less modifier. But again, a natural 1 is always a hit. Okay, so that was that. Now we've got no. They're going to advance. The infantry are going to advance, aren't they? Assigned to every infantry and cavalry that is 2 or more regions away. Hang on, why is that? Assign this default battle plan to every infantry and cavalry unit force that is 2 or more regions from the nearest Confederate force if you're selecting default battle plans for the aggressive pool. Well, that's... I mean, that's what it says in the rulebook too. And it advances when you're aggressive tactics, which they are. So in actual fact, that the wording on that says that cavalry should be doing an advance. However, when you then move and look at combat, the rule for combat, and in particular combat and Union cavalry, in addition, assign the combat default battle plan to any Union cavalry force that is exactly 2 regions away. See, that wording and that's wrong then, in my opinion. When it says here under advance, assign this default battle plan to every infantry and cavalry Union force that is 2 or more regions away. Well, that cavalry force was, or is 2 regions away. I mean, yeah. Don't get me wrong, in the combat bit it explains that if the cavalry force is exactly 2 regions away, it's going to do what it did. So, and I'm not trying to sneak out of this. I'm happy to lose at games all the time. It's not that. It's just slight word in there in the advance rule, I think. Unless it's just me. Could be. But we've done what I think was right there, anyway. The rest of the forces are going to advance, because they're at least 2 or more regions away, and they're going to advance 1 region. So all the other infantry are going to move on. But I mean, the cavalry's done its combat, so it's going to stay back there. Now, one thing that happens here is, my guess is that they get 1 command point for moving into there. So, where's command points? There. And these are not differentiated between Union and Confederate. So that's up there, isn't it? So I'm going to give him 1 Union command point there. Again, I'm all putting this out here to make sure that I'm getting it right, and if that's wrong, then I'm sure somebody will tell me. Okay, so that was pretty bad, and then, well, we're not finished yet, because the artillery is going to fire as well, and that's going to fire at Huger, and again, well, it needs that special 1. Come on, don't do this to me. Right, here we go. There's a 7 as well, which is like, I mean, it's clearly a 7. But I was saying the 1 and the 7 are similar-ish. Not really, but... Right, and I forgot about something as well. I forgot about heavy fire. So in actual fact, I'm going to keep that die roll, but it might mean that they're not getting that die roll, or... No, they would still get it, actually. Because it could mean that Huger retreats. In fact, does he not? This is turning into a disaster. Right. When a mobile Confederate... they've got heavy fire in play in close ranks, right? Heavy fire's the relevant one here. When a mobile Confederate force suffers a hit this turn, which is what's happened. Huger suffered a hit. He's a Confederate mobile force. Make an activation check for that force. Right, well, his activation numbers went down to a 2 now as well since he flipped. If the result is a fail, then the force immediately retreats one region. If the region retreated into now exceeds, that's not going to exceed. No forces are destroyed, but a force could retreat off the battlefield. Right, okay. The heavy fire special battle plan has no effect when resolving hits from shock attacks. Right, okay. And does that still stay in play, that heavy fire? I think it does. Okay, well, if we don't roll a 2 here, or less, if we don't roll a 1 or a 2, then Huger's retreating, losing his entrenchment, and things are going to get worse. Okay, let's hope we can roll a 2. Good luck with that one, Grant. Right, let's roll one of the 1s again. Not to be a 4. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think he has to retreat into the Confederate Reserve, loses his entrenchment, which is an insight, which I'm going to put back in there. And yeah, and then that would have happened before that artillery was firing, actually, because that would have resolved when that cavalry, in fact, it would have happened before these infantry actually moved forward, because that was the cavalry that hit them, wasn't it? So then, but the modifier would have still been the same. We would have still need, oh, hold on. Yeah, we rolled a 7 for the artillery, yeah. It was still needed a 1 anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered, he would have still done it. So that's that. So then we move to our battle plans. Well, Huger was just holding, and the fortification had to prepare, so it's done its action already anyway. So we're now back at route check, I guess. Well, our forces are now down to 7 strength, and they're still at 10, aren't they? So that's not 3 to 1. So we advance the battle counter again on to turn 1. One more battle turn. These go away back to the mix, and prepare goes away, and we start again. Not in a good place. Okay, and I'm at an hour and a half now as well, and I'm running out of time. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have went through all the battle plans earlier on, and we might have got moving a bit quicker. That was probably a bit silly. We could read into them come the time, you know, or these are things I could do while I'm paused and off camera, and then explain, look, I'm going to do this battle plan, and then read it out, the one I'm going to do, rather than read through them all. I have said though that I think they are the meat of the game, really. Yeah, they're the more important things in the game, I think, the battle plans. Yeah. Okay, so what are you going to do now then, Grant? Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to leave it at that. I have to come back and still finish this. See what I mean about my videos dragging on a bit. Yeah, so we've got one more battle turn. I mean, you can see what's going to happen. These are going to have to advance again, gaining another command point, because Huger's retreated. Well, this time the cavalry are going to move up. The artillery is going to fire again. Whether it's going to be at Huger or fortification, it's going to pick it's going to pick the highest. I think they pick the highest quality, whereas with us, we've got to pick the lowest quality when we fire. Our fortification will have a better shot at these guys because they moved down to range. Oh, well, hang on. In actual fact, this is maybe when you don't want to prepare, because you want to let them move in there and fire, because I think you get a +2. I think you get a +2 if they're in range of 1. Yeah, you do. So you get a 0 if they're at range 2, but you get a +2/+2 if they're at range 1. And by the way, that's +2/+2. That means you get the superscript or subscript or whatever it is. I probably should look that one up and make sure or try. I think it's superscript, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, so probably don't want to do that. Well, actually, no, hang on. Can you assign a battle plan? If we know they're going to come in, then they're going to be at range 1. I'm guessing I can't do this. I think you know what I'm going to say. Can I assign a fire battle plan to Huger? Even though these are 2 away? No, I don't think so, Grant. It'll tell you that they need to be... It does talk throughout the rules, though, that about certain battle plans could be legal when you declare them, and then illegal when you come to carry them out. And that's because the union get to do their things first. So I think, though, I don't think I can declare this as a fire default battle plan because they're 2 away. They're 2 away, not 1 away. So I don't think I can do that. And yet we know that they're going to be 1 away come the time I'm getting to do it. But my guess is that's probably not allowed. I don't think that would be. Yeah. Okay. Right. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to leave it there then because this is an hour and a half now, and we're just going to have to come back to this. I'm quite enjoying it. Not that things went very well for me, have they? So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. If we are going to fight to the death, or should we consider? Can we retreat? I don't think even the fortification. I think we need to leave the fortification behind, but Huger, I suppose, could retreat and just get out of there. Don't know if that's something to consider. I mean, we are up against it, and remember, they got an extra force as well with this regiment in play. Strong fortification we've got, though. Possibility of doing 2 hits. Yeah, because here, if we give this the default battle plan of fire, and then they move into there, then our fire's going to be better. That's why we wouldn't want to prepare that this time. Okay, well, things to think about. Yeah, I will just leave it there. Yeah, come back. Probably not get a chance tomorrow, but I think Sunday and Monday over the weekend I'm off work still. Hopefully be able to get my teeth into this a bit more. And I've got plenty of other games that are waiting for me as well. So I don't want to neglect them. I can see one of them probably getting left aside for a bit, but yeah, that's what happens when you try and take on 3 games at the one time. It's a bit daft, to be honest. Okay, sorry this is dragging on a bit, but it is how Grant works, and it's generally how most of my stuff goes. I just stop in the middle of somewhere and come back. Right, do we know where we are? Should we mark? Well, we're starting a new battle turn, aren't we? So yeah, so it's just going to be step 1. Well, the first step up there, insight activation, and then select our battle plans, basically. We've not got the insight anymore anyway. Yeah, this is bad. Okay, I'll be back later and we'll see what we're going to do. Cheers.